Okay, so this is the inside of my freezer. It looks like chaos. I know some people have really organized freezers, and I do clean mine out and organize it every now and then, but then a lot of the stuff that I have is in bags and it just becomes like this, bags that are opened and clip closed. So just on the surface, you can see to the right, like over here, I have frozen vegetables of various descriptions. I have some frozen bags of fruit. This container I happen to know for a fact has hot dogs. These are my ice cubes. Let me show you. Ooh. So I don't use like ice. I have reusable ice cubes. So you just pop them into whatever you need ice for, and then when you're done using them, you clean them, and then you put them back in here, put them back in the freezer. I don't use ice that much, so when I do, I like to do it in a more environmentally friendly way. I have a whole bunch of dead bananas in various places because I save them for banana bread, and then things hidden behind bags and stuff down here. So I'm gonna pull it all out and we'll go through it all sitting on the counter. I'm gonna see if I can turn you a little bit. My tripod's not super happy with me right now. So this is the door to the fridge. I have more dead bananas. There's freezer packs in here for cooler bags when I go out. This is for, this is like the water bladder for my hiking bag that goes into the side of the backpack. This is my lunch kit. I have a frozen alcoholic slushy drink down there. I don't keep like food in here. It's just, like I said, frozen bananas and then cooler packs and things like that. So I'm not going to empty out this unless I find a way to like empty out all the frozen bananas and store them together in some way. I find they tend to get damaged if they're in the freezer for too long, but it could be because I'm not gentle with them. I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm going to empty out all of this. Oh, that was not a smooth transition at all. And then I'll see you back at the counter. Okay, so this is an overview of everything that came out of my freezer. The only things that are still in my freezer are bananas, and then the things that I showed you in the door, and my reusable ice cubes. So I think I'm going to take you off the tripod and kind of get you in a little bit closer so you can see more clearly the chaos that I am seeing, and I'll give you some explanations of things as we go through it. Okay, so here's a closer look at things. I'm gonna start with some stuff right at the front that were kind of unusual purchases, most likely won't be happening again, and also that way I can get them off the counter back to the freezer. These are pie plates, like pie shells, that I bought from a friend who was doing a fundraising thing for her sports team. They were selling frozen food items. So I bought these because I do like to bake, and I thought, you know, if ever I don't have time to do my own pastry, I can at least like make the filling and use one of these frozen pie shells. I have used, like there were more in this package. I have used a couple. I just don't do them often. I don't make pies often. When I do, I make my own dough. So I tend to use these more for like this tuna broccoli quiche type dish that my mom taught me how to make, but I don't make that often. So I just have these pie shells and I have no way to just get rid of them easily. So they just kind of live in the freezer until I can randomly come up with something to make in them. This is cheesecake. It is an entire cheesecake, which I can't open without unsealing the box, so I'm not gonna try. Let's turn it around. It is a 8-inch New York cheesecake. Yes, I have an entire cheesecake. The same friend that I bought those off of on another year was selling things, and I didn't want to buy the pie crusts again since I still had some, so I bought a cheesecake with the theory of if I'm going somewhere and I like, you know, when you get invited somewhere and you take food, I always take dessert because I don't cook very well, but I bake really well. And I thought, you know, if I don't have time to bake something, I can take the cheesecake and I'll just make a really nice like sauce or drizzle to put over top of it. So that is why I bought it. And I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't for her fundraising, right? But so I ended up with a cheesecake, and I have yet to have anything to take it to. So it just lives in there. And the amount of times I'm working around this box is super irritating. But I also don't want to just like give it away. I mean, that sounds rude. Like, I mean, I don't just want to be like, here to a random friend, have a cheesecake. Because like, people will take it and they will eat it. But everybody is on their own like meal plans and whatnot. And I don't want to be compromising or sabotaging somebody else's meal plans because I'm trying to get rid of something from my freezer. And I think the theory for why I bought it still stands. It's just that an occasion hasn't occurred for me to take it yet. So I have a cheesecake. I really don't know when I'm ever going to use the cheesecake. My fear is one day I'm just going to thaw it and start eating it on my own just to get it out of the freezer. I really hope I don't do that. I don't know. I have a cheesecake. It's going to be going back in the freezer. Underneath of it, where can I put that down to turn this around? From the same friend. I can't remember if I bought this at the same time as the cheesecake. I don't know, but same idea. They were fundraising. They were selling these. They're apple cinnamon, like do you see? I can't think of the word right now. Like a filled pastry thing. Why can't I think of the word right now? Does it say on the back? No. Oh, a turnover. There we go. It's an apple cinnamon turnover. There were 4 in the box. So I haven't taken them out of the box to save the space because they will get completely squashed to death in the freezer and then they'll be useless. So they stay in the box to keep them safe. I think I'm actually going to leave one out though and let it thaw, because when I do cook them, well, bake them, reheat them, I guess it's more reheating. I leave one out overnight and then I put it in the air fryer the next day. They are quite lovely. They get all poofy and like the pastry is all crispy, and they were great. So the next time she's fundraising and selling things like this, I'm probably just going to buy these again and not the other things, because at least these I will eventually eat like just on my own at home, whereas those are just going to take up space until I die. So these and the cheesecake and the pie crust, I'm going to put them back in the freezer right now to clear up space on the counter. And because, except for the one that I take out of this box, I have no solution for these 3 in terms of saving myself space. So I'm going to put those back in the freezer and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm just going to move us through things that don't need much contemplating to get rid of them first. This, I don't even know what this is. It's something that I put into a little dish or a container. I'm not in the mood to open it right now. Clearly, it's nothing that's going to make a difference to my grocery shopping this week. I'm going to leave it near the front of the freezer and I'll open it at some point. It's possible that it's a portioned out thing of pasta sauce, but I really don't know off the top of my head what I put in here. I really need to label things. And then over here is ice cream that I bought to make root beer floats with. So there's not too much in there. Once it's done, it's done. I don't buy ice cream that often. So clearly this is not a thing that is involved in the grocery shopping situation right now either. So these 2, this little container and the ice cream, are going to go back into the freezer for future pondering. Well, the ice cream, let's be real, eating, it'll probably be done in a week or so. And then this little mystery container, whenever I get brave enough to open it. So now is when I think we get into a bit of the more, not troublesome things, but figuring things out stage. Oh, no, wait, these are the ice lollies that I bought, the freezies. Let me put those back in the freezer because they're kind of not part of this equation either. There's, how many are left in there? Not too many. I keep them in the bag to kind of keep them contained once they're in the freezer. And I mean, they're fine. They were sort of an impulse purchase. I was happy with them because they're only 1 point per, which is great for me on Weight Watchers. But you know, we're coming to the end of the summer, so once they're eaten, I won't be buying them again. All right, now we're into the land of having to figure things out. So we can start over here, I suppose. Compliments brand, Eggo's cinnamon flavor. The box is like not sturdy. There's, what, how many in there? 3 or 4 left in there. Points wise, they aren't great, but I have them, so I'm going to eat them. I could use them as like a base to put egg on top of, I suppose. Do something that way, because if I eat them just as they are, you know, pop 2 in the toaster, put them with a little bit of syrup, I find they're not very filling. So they're not a swap out for like a workday breakfast or anything. I'd have to use them in conjunction with something else to turn it into like an actual proper meal. But there are only 4 left. I could actually, I think, take them out of the box because, I mean, yes, the box keeps them sort of safe, but it also takes up a lot of space considering the Eggos themselves only take up this much space. So I think I'll get rid of the box to save up some room, and the Eggos, oh, which have ice in there, but that's fine. Those, oh, that's a lot of ice. It's fine. It's fine. They will be fine. I just need to prioritize eating my way through those, I think. So I'll leave them near the front of the freezer. And work my way through those. And then I don't buy things like this very often. I must have just been really craving them, I suppose. So it's not a thing. There's things that once they're out of there, I buy them so infrequently, I'm not worried I'm going to go and replace them again right away. Do you know what I mean? So like on that vein, hash browns. I totally forgot I had this. I love hash browns. Like I have a deep and abiding love for hash browns, preferably the shredded kind, but I also like these little cubed kinds. I almost never buy them. In fact, I don't think I bought these. I think that a friend was, when they were moving, they were just like desperate to have less things to pack and they were just going to throw out some of their frozen food, and I took them. So I find hash browns are very expensive. I know I could just buy potatoes and make my own, but I'm not going to. So I just generally don't have hash browns around, and I was eating them at some point, clearly, and I do remember highly enjoying them. So I think I'm going to leave these out near the front as well. They kind of got lost in the back of the freezer, and I want to finish them up. There's not that many in there, so it's one serving. It'll be the easiest thing ever to finish these. I can just make like a nice egg and hash brown bowl with a bunch of veggies in there, and boom, they're gone. So these are two things that I'm definitely going to be eating my way through and finishing off. I mean, heck, like I could eat the hash browns with something that I make for dinner tonight and get rid of them tonight. Like these are going to become part of the mission to have them gone by next week. These are, I bought them from Trader Joe's. I love them. I bought them with the idea of like topping, what am I looking for? What word? Tossing them into soup or just various other dishes like as I make them. And I did for a little bit, and then I kind of forgot about them because they're sort of in the back of the freezer. So I need to keep them more in the front because they're smaller, and I need to remember when I'm doing something that I could toss them into to toss them into. Like I have one more package of like a ramen thing left, so they could easily go into the ramen, I think. I don't know. I don't make a lot of soup right now, so these might end up just sort of sitting in the freezer for a bit until soup season returns to us. But, yeah. And then here is from Costco, the ridiculously big bag of the dumplings that I cook horribly every time. So technically they're sort of a, I think of them as like a main course because they're so point heavy. They do have beef in them. I usually have, I think, like 4 in a serving, and then they have to be eaten with something else. You can't just have the dumplings. So put them with a side of veggies or something like that. So, you know, I will work my way through them. I need to sort of eat them, I think, maybe a little bit faster. Maybe like have a serving at least once a week. Otherwise that bag will sit in there forever. And let's move over to the other meat that I have so I can put all the things with meat back in the freezer. I bought this with the intention of turning it into taco meat and having like a, not really a taco and not really a burrito, but kind of a version of a combination of those two things for dinner in like the coming week. I will do that still with this meat. I just don't know if I'm going to do it this week just because I want to use up other stuff first, and this will be perfectly safe sitting for another week in the freezer. This are hot dogs. There's not very many left in the package. I'll keep them in the container to keep them kind of safe. And by safe, I mean like safe from freezer burn, not safe from like attack. But yeah, there's something that I do need to work my way through and just sort of get them out because they take up a lot of space. I probably could squish the container down a little bit because it's one of those like collapsible ones, and then they won't take up quite as much space. But that is my other protein. And then I have the hamburgers. I love these hamburgers. These are like the thing in the freezer that made me the happiest, which weirdly enough is why I don't eat them very frequently, because I love them, but they're expensive, so I don't buy them as often. But yeah, I need to remember I don't need more protein. I keep thinking I want to buy chicken. I like chicken, but I need to eat up the protein that I have before I buy any more, because I have ground beef that I can use in multiple ways, whether it's the way that I was intending it to or not. I have the hot dogs, I have the hamburgers, I have that. Plus I have eggs and I have tofu in the fridge. So I can very comfortably say I do not need protein when I go grocery shopping, which is great because protein is super expensive. Let's move on to IKEA food, something I have a weakness for. So these are potato and vegetable medallions. So they're basically exactly what they sound and look like. Potato and vegetables mixed together into like these little hockey puck style things. And there's a little bit of cheese in the middle. Don't let them trick you. There is, which ups the points of them like crazy. So I get these when I eat at like the cafe at IKEA, and I love them. So then I buy them when they're frozen, and then I don't cook them because they take an oven, and I'm lazy about that. Like I tend to cook like in pans on like a stove top or like on top of my burners. And also they're really high in points, and I didn't know that the last time I bought them, not until I got them home and I scanned them. So I don't eat them right now because of the points and like the level of commitment it takes to cook them, but that's stupid. They're in my freezer. There's something I really like, and I keep working my way around the box. So there are, I'm not exactly sure how many are in here off the top of my head, but I need to start using them. So these are another thing that I'm going to prioritize over the next 2 weeks. There's what, 2, 4, there's probably like 8 in there. So let's say over the next 2 weeks, because I do them as like 2 in a serving. So I really need to like yank these out and start using them. Like they might be, it would be a super high pointed dinner, but it might be nice to have these with some of those. And I just realized I forgot to put those in the freezer when I put the other meat away. And like maybe like a side of veggies or something. I need to figure out what I'm eating these with and actually just commit to eating them. And then also from IKEA, I have veggie balls. They don't look great in the picture, but they actually really are. So there's only about like this much left in the bag. The bag gets all tied up and then put inside of this like Ziploc bag that's sitting underneath of it to try to keep them free from freezer burn. They can be microwaved, they can be pan fried, they can be put into an oven, I believe. You can cook these multiple ways. They are good in every single way. I tend to kind of get into a phase with them where I toss them into a bunch of stuff and then I don't use them for a little while. But as I keep saying, I want to use stuff up, I'm going to move them to the front of the freezer and prioritize using them, because then I can just get rid of them, which sounds rude, but you know what I mean. Like we're trying to use the food that we have so that I'm buying less stuff, and also like clearing out freezer space for things that I don't need to be keeping this small amount in my freezer. That's ridiculous. I feel like everything I'm saying, I'm going to move to the front of the freezer to use it. There's only so much front freezer real estate available. These 2 bags of vegetables I am doing separate from the rest of the bags of vegetables because they're not veggies that I use as like a single, like use them just on their own as like a side serving or like a side dish, or you know what I'm running out of words. Okay, let me try explaining them again. These are diced white onions. These are little cubes of diced up spinach. I bought them specifically so that I don't need to buy onion and dice it up when I want to put some into a recipe. And I bought this because it's high in iron and it's a nice easy way to just like get some extra spinach in your meals by tossing in the cube when you're cooking up something else. Do I remember to use them on a regular basis? No. Do I constantly curse myself when I'm almost at the end of making a meal and I remember that I have these and I would have loved to have onion? Yes. Will I purchase them again? Probably not. They both have freezer burn on the inside of the bags. I don't use them frequently. I don't even know why. Like I just don't think about them when I'm pulling out other stuff. However, I am not going to try to prioritize using these up in the next couple weeks or so. I want to work on the other items that we've already discussed. These will live in the freezer. When I remember to use them, I will remember to use them. When I forget, I'll just curse at myself for forgetting again. And eventually I will work my way through them and they will be done. And then I will decide at that time, like, what do I want to do about these? Because in theory, like it was a solid plan. But I remember like years ago, when I didn't know that this was a thing, I just bought an onion, chopped it up, put it into a mason jar in the front of my freezer. And then you can just sort of shake the jar to loosen them up because they get all clumped together when they're in the freezer, and then just like get some whenever I wanted to put onion into a dish. That worked great. So maybe I go back to doing that and not buying this big bag. I think that might be the better way to go. I also think if I make a nice big batch of soup, I can put a large quantity of both into a big batch of soup as a way to help empty out the bags a little bit. Not all of it clearly, but at least a good chunk of it. So something to think about. I have way more frozen fruit than I realized, which I guess shouldn't be a surprise, but the fact that I didn't realize how much I had kind of makes it a surprise. So these 3 bags are opened. I use this one, the dark cherries specifically, I use only when I'm putting it with Greek yogurt to make like a snack. So that's fine, they're fine. This one, there's not very much left in there. I bought this one and this tropical twist one to make protein smoothies. And I have done some, clearly, because this bag is almost finished. But I've broken my blender and I haven't figured out a way to recreate the actions of a blender on frozen fruit yet. So they're just going to go back into the freezer. I don't really use frozen fruit for anything else. I mean, I will use something like this to turn it into a crumble. Although because I've opened it, I'm not sure exactly how much I've used, so I don't think I have quite enough for my recipe, but I could just sort of shrink it down a little bit, make a crumble, give it to my friends upstairs, and then be out a bag of fruit. Because I don't know why, but these blends like this, I don't like thawing them out and using them with yogurt or on top of like my oatmeal or anything like that. I really just like these ones for baking or for like blending into a smoothie or something like that. Like I said, I can't explain why, I just don't really care for it used in other forms. So I have a bunch of fruit. This one I'm going to leave closer to the front to remember that I have it to snack with my Greek yogurt, since now I won't be using the Greek yogurt to make the smoothies because again the blender broke and I don't want to waste the yogurt. The rest I think I'll kind of tuck near the back for now since I won't be using them. Something else I clearly don't need to buy is more frozen vegetables, which is great because I buy them almost every time I go grocery shopping, so this will definitely save me money. This one was at the back, completely forgotten about, as was this one. And this is one of my favorite ones, so that was actually quite the happy find. So I have two completely unopened bags of vegetables. This one, which is the same as that, is almost done. This is like a mixture. It's one of those, I always think of this as like basic vegetables, you know? I like these ones though in various things, and I also like them when I'm using up one of these more expensive bags of veggies. I'll add in some of these into whatever I'm cooking to kind of bulk up the veggie content without going through the more expensive bags faster. These are the sweet potatoes. Yeah, the sweet potatoes. I do still want to try air frying those or mashing them or something, because anytime I've had them so far, it's just been like pan frying them. They kind of go to mush, and they're perfectly fine, but I just think that they could be utilized much better. So this is definitely going to be used really quickly because there's not that much left, and I do go through veggies at a pretty decent rate. The sweet potato, maybe not quite as quickly because like I said, I do want to figure out how to air fry them or do something a little bit more exciting with them. These two I will end up cracking open at some point during the week, unless I'm relying on like say those IKEA veggie medallions for my veggies, then I don't know, we'll see. And then this one, it's hit or miss. Like I do add it to a lot of things. I absolutely love it. I will go through it. I'm not concerned about it. I don't need to buy any more right now. I might use it up this week. It might take me a little bit into next week. It really just depends on what exactly I'm cooking for this coming week. We'll see. So here's what the freezer looks like now. I know it doesn't look that much better than what it was, but I swear there is like a little bit more organization to where things have been placed. The ice cubes are down there just because I had to put them somewhere. Behind them, you can't really see, are the boxes with the cheesecake and the turnover, just because they needed to be out of the way. In this little section up here, I put the compliment brand Eggo and the hash brown so that I see them right away because I want to use these up very quickly. And the same right here. Let me come out a little bit. These are the veggie balls from IKEA, and right behind them are those veggie pucks. So this is sort of like this whole little front section are things to be pulling from right away. Same with I mean, I know I'm going to eat the veggies. I'm not concerned about that. I just put the little package at the front so that I see them and I get rid of them quicker. I have the beef and the hot dogs right there. I was able to squish down the container holding the hot dogs, so it takes up a little bit less space. I would like to use the hot dogs up before I get into the meat, I think, with the other sources of meat that I have, just because that way I get rid of a container. It's like the least nutrient solid form of protein that I have, so I think just sort of best to get it out. And then right there are the hamburger patties, so they're nice and up close up front for my protein. Behind in the back corner there, I don't know if you can really see it, is the pie plates, the frozen pie plates, and then sitting on top of them are the frozen bananas, so that's great because now they're a little bit protected from being moved around a lot. Up here, like we already discussed, stuff for me to access super quickly. I have way in the back corner up there the frozen sweet potato, just because I wanted to get them a little bit out of the way while I'm still figuring out what it is that I want to do with them. This front row here are the two unopened bags of vegetables that I want to be able to have easy access to once the little bags are done. My cherries, so that I have them easy access to have with my yogurt. This was just because I needed to put the fruit somewhere. In the back is the rest of the fruit. You can't really see it, and also in the back are the diced onions and the bag of the spinach cubes, because I'm not accessing those and not looking for those for a little while. I want to work through the stuff that I have that's more visible. And then I put the ice cream there because I had to put it somewhere, and I might as well put it near the front so that I eat it and then just get rid of the container. And the mystery container also just had to go somewhere, so it's living up there until I'm brave enough to open it. My freezer door is still the same. Like I said, I'm not touching it. It's frozen bananas and ice packs and a lunch bag and things like that. None of it is food. None of it's really going anywhere. I don't want to move any of these items into the main part of the freezer and take up food space with them, so they will just stay as they are. So my lesson from going through my freezer before going grocery shopping is I don't need to buy anything for my freezer. I don't need vegetables, I don't need fruit, I don't need protein. Those are the things that live in my freezer. So this is amazing. That completely cuts down on a huge portion of what I normally grocery shop, and I'm very excited about that. So here's my fridge. Try not to judge. I know it's not like cute or anything, but it's vaguely functional and kind of organized. I mean, not really, but at times it is. My organization really just sits with the milk is always on the top left, the eggs are always middle right, and then usually things get clumped together in terms of like protein or carb or fruit or veg. My drawers are condiments because it is like a smaller than normal sized fridge that is not a real tomato. That's one of those like containers to hold a tomato, which you would think I would be using for my tomato, which is leaving leaves on my fridge, but I don't. So I store containers in these two drawers, or condiments, because if I put fruit or vegetable in there, I completely forget it exists and it goes bad and I create ecosystems and it's disgusting. And also some of my condiments. So here's my fridge door. It has a lot. It's super cluttered, but also in my defense, which I don't think you'll be able to tell from the video, it's very small. Like the height is very short, so you can really only fit like small things in there. This one at the bottom is super tiny. It's kind of ridiculous. So it holds condiments, but it can't hold all the condiments that my old fridge held, and certain things it just can't hold at all, like the soy sauce, because of the height, unless I wanted to put it there. But if I put it there, then I can't put the lemon juice or like that salad dressing bottle. Do you know what I mean? Like I needed short condiments. Luckily I have some, but even then, like these ones have to lean over because they just don't fit. It's not great, but I have a fridge and it keeps my food cold, so I am grateful. I just need to learn better ways to organize them. So I'm not taking out stuff from here because it's condiments, except for like a little bit of like oat milk, and some butter and some baking chocolate, and here. And the butter thing is where I have sauces from like pizza and like soy sauce packages from sushi. Ooh, I didn't mean to slam that on you, sorry. And I have some little pops down there, but I always forget that they exist because they're down there, so I stopped putting them there. Now, in the actual fridge itself, I have a container that is for sort of like jam, salsa, condiment-y type things of that vein. This, jalapenos. This is my jam. So it's just sort of jars of condiment type things. This container I use for drinks, clearly. I like apple juice, don't judge. And then I have the oat milk for the smoothies. And then in the back, I have a thing of Premier Protein and vanilla. I've never tried that flavor, so I don't know if I like it yet. So I keep putting off trying it, which is stupid, I'm aware. I have a dying tomato. I ate the other one, if that makes you feel any better. And a package of tofu, way at the back. It's medium firm. I like tofu. I'm not great at cooking it, but I do like it. It's a very good source of protein and it's cheaper than meat. I am not a vegetarian or a vegan by any means. I'm just trying to eat more protein, or more protein in the form of tofu because tofu is cheaper. However, on the topic of protein, eggs. My eggs always live here. I tend to buy the larger container because I go through a lot, especially if I'm also baking at the same time. So I have some eggs. My package of cheese it usually sort of lives in that container right there, but I took it out and just then put it on top of the eggs for some reason, and I'm going to put it back there. I have a singular can of diet root beer because I only put them in the fridge one at a time so that the fridge doesn't get overwhelmed with drinks. And also I can't go crazy because I like my pop to be cold, so I can, not like I've ever really been tempted to have more than one in a day, but if ever I wanted to, I can't. So my singular one, and then behind it are cheese slices. I kind of move those around for where they're gonna live. I like them more on the bottom shelf, but I had something down there before, I can't think of what. So they're up there for now. This container has the remains of a cucumber, which is still good. I need to get on that. And then puffed tofu that I absolutely love. And then this container, this yogurt has gone bad. So I need to clean it out, but I'll do that tomorrow because then I'll take out the recycling and the garbage and everything, and so then nothing will smell in my fridge. This is Branston pickle, which really should go down with that one, I think. Oh, the sounds. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move it. See, these containers are like great until they're not. So sorry you're stuck with my fridge organizing. But you know when you see something and you're like, oh, did I not do that? Okay, so the Branston pickle's down there. So this Greek yogurt, I'll move out because it's going to be going away. So if I put it there, I'm more likely to see it tomorrow. I have Philly cream cheese. I have from Trader Joe's a hot cocoa inspired cream cheese spread that I've never opened. I'm an idiot for having bought it. It sounded amazing, but I just haven't used it yet. And then I have some plum butter that a friend made me. I think it's been open too long though, and I should probably get rid of it. I get really nervous about food going bad because I can't actually taste or smell, so once it turns, I don't know, and then I eat it and I get really sick. This is the remains of the plum jam that I made. So it's almost done and I can almost get my container back. I'm very excited. The remains of my loaf of bread, so I will need to buy bread. This is my current yogurt that has not gone bad. So move that in there. And then this top container, it's really just because I needed somewhere to put the container. So I have an open coconut water I haven't finished, and my apple juice, and I have some small baby cans of Diet Ginger Ale. There's no clear organization for that one. So this is my fridge. These little items at the bottom that I need to get rid of because of having gone bad. Otherwise, there's nothing really that I need to take out of here or I need to really focus in on eating. I mean, yes, to the puffed tofu, I need to get started on that, but at the same time, it'll be fine if I swap it out during the week with the protein that's in the freezer, so I can kind of swap back and forth in between the two, because I don't want to go a whole week without having the tofu and just be eating like the beef in the various forms. So I think the fridge is actually all right. I didn't have to pull it all out, which is nice. And there's really nothing in here. Like, I need to buy more bread and more milk, but I already knew that. And maybe if they're on sale, another cucumber, if I think I can get through it quickly enough, because I do like a cucumber. I'm thinking about buying some baby carrots so I have something healthy to snack on when I want to snack, because this past week I've been all about wanting to snack and I don't have healthy snacks, just easy to grab necessarily. So I think I need to start looking for something like that. So maybe some baby carrots will go onto the shopping list, but otherwise nothing kind of extreme or crazy happening with this fridge. Last space, I swear. So this is my pantry. There is a lower half to it, but the bottom half is all baking supplies, and we're not even going into that nonsense. And then this is sort of random bits and bobs, but it's mostly seasonings, and then like, I don't know, Advil and Cerdo for when I made the jam, you know, like things like that. So this is not part of the chaos. So for food, I'm just gonna kind of move things out of the way and look at stuff and then see. I'm gonna eat that. Don't judge. I'm not eating it right in this moment, but I am going to eat it because I like macaroni and cheese. I prefer the Compliments brand to like the actual Kraft Dinner brand, which surprises me because I'm actually quite a Kraft Dinner person, or like a Kraft branded person, I should say. But this will be getting eaten at some point, as will this. I know that neither is Weight Watchers friendly, neither creates like healthy points usage for the day, but they are both things that I like, and it's gonna happen. So I bought these two things here because my cat sitter, one of them, she had this brand, like the empty container of it in the recycling when I came home after I was away, and she's like a ridiculously healthy human being. So I was like, oh, this is interesting, I wonder what that is. And then when I was grocery shopping, I saw them, so I bought two that I thought would be interesting, but I didn't realize till I was home I bought the kids version, not the adults. So yeah, I don't think it actually matters, but it's just kind of funny. So they're a functional fruit shake. I don't really know what they mean by functional, I'm not gonna lie. They have 6 grams of protein, 3 grams of fiber, calcium and magnesium. They must be vegan because the friend that was drinking them is vegan. I don't know what any of this stuff is. Low glycemic, I mean, I know what eco-conscious is. Grass-fed protein. Oh, maybe they're not vegan then. I don't know. Anyways, I bought them purely because she bought them and she's a very healthy human, and I keep forgetting that I have them. So I think they would be a really good thing to pull when I don't have a lot of time in between work and a physio appointment, for example, and I need to have something to eat, or in this case drink. I think that they would taste better cold. I'm just reading the pouch. They weren't kept chilled when I bought them. They were just like on its shelf, but I just think something like this would be better cold. So I think I'll take them out and I'll put them into the fridge, and then they will have to go on my list of things to prioritize using. Okay, now I've got this. It's a concentrated broth to be able to make soup. It's chicken, so yay. I really need to, I have vegetables and I've got tofu and I have this broth, so I could make myself a nice big batch of soup actually, and then have that to eat on during the week. Even if I just like make it without the tofu and then add the tofu, like the medium firm one, not the puff tofu, when I'm warming it up, when I go to eat it, and because like the tofu doesn't have to be cooked and I don't want it to disintegrate. So, yes, this is, okay, to think about. These, it's not that I forget, oh sorry, these aren't actually the brownies, these are granola bars. These are the Fiber One oat and chocolate granola bars. I don't exactly forget that I have them, except that like I do forget that I have them. I didn't used to, and now I keep forgetting that I have them to pull from. So I need to figure out a way to remind myself about these a bit more often. And then back in the corner, I have some banana flavored pudding. So sue me, I'm a child, I like pudding. So, but they don't need to be prioritized eating because they're shelf stable. So I think they're not gonna be at the top of my list for things to take care of. I'm not gonna bother worrying about condiments or things used for cooking because it's not really what the point of this is. Although I do have back here a thing of almond milk. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong spot. I use this specifically for making protein smoothies. It's shelf stable, so it can stay back here for quite a while. I think I actually bought that particular one because I was on a little bit of a kick for like, I don't have an emergency store or stash of food, and I live somewhere that eventually we're gonna have a really big earthquake and I'll die. But those of us who don't die are gonna need food. So I think I bought it thinking about that. Like at least it's something to have in case of emergency. Clearly I'm a very emergency planning type of a human. So I'm gonna leave these laying down, which seems ridiculous, but when I open up the cupboard, I'll see the pictures faster, and maybe that will help remind me. And where do I put this? I'll put that there, although it was kind of roughly in that spot before and I kept missing it. But if I just remember that sort of in the center here are things to look for to eat versus like ordering takeout or whatnot, maybe that'll help me. I'm gonna put the tea back there. Yeah, the rest is just condiments I'm gonna ignore for now. Now up here, oh look at that, I had peaches. I didn't know I had peaches. Oh, that's great. Okay, so there's nothing behind the peaches. It's a really big can of peaches and a really big can of diced tomatoes. Oh, that's great. That would be so good to add into the soup that I'm theoretically making. This is like a soup in a bag. I need to read it to see what I need to add to it. Oh, it's supposed to be chicken noodle soup. So I need to put in a carrot, a celery stalk, water, 2 cups of chopped cooked chicken. So at some point when I've gone through the protein that's in my freezer, I will buy probably like a rotisserie chicken and then pull the meat off of that and use that for this, because yeah, that seems the best way to do that. And then I have pasta and pasta sauce, which I bought in case of emergency because I don't normally buy things like that. I love pasta, but it's just yeah, points wise. I have these. They're kids Cliff bars. They're like a really good snack option if you just need something on the go. So I think I'll move these down here. The rest is, oh, I have canned peas. Okay, let me get some of this out of the way. So I have condiments up here. That is hot chocolate powder. That is, I know it's in a peanut container, but it's actually lemon powder for making hot lemonade. I have a gravy mix, or like a gravy granule thing. So if I ever need something with gravy, this, it's not for eating. It's for when I make my pineapple upside down cake. I knew I had that. I have tuna, And I want to eat the tuna, but the cat will want the tuna as soon as I open it, and he can't eat anything that isn't his food because it makes him sick, and so I haven't opened it because I don't want to hurt his feelings, and I'm aware that that's really ridiculous. I've got sweet peas, and I have peas and carrots, and I did not know that I had those, so that's great. I'm gonna move that stuff back up there, and I'm gonna move these, I'm gonna move them to the front but leave them there so I can still see the tomatoes and the peaches. This is great. I have even more vegetables, so I definitely don't need to be buying any vegetables. I've got, what in the world is that? Honey mustard, ooh, ghost pepper ranch. When did I buy that? And calorie-wise ranch dressing. Okay, so clearly my condiments and sauces are fine, except I do need, because I ran out, I just finished it the other day, my sweet Thai chili sauce, and it is one of my favorites with the puff tofu. So I have learned from shopping in my pantry and my freezer and my fridge, I don't need to buy vegetables, I don't need to buy protein. This is actually really great. Like, this saves me 2 huge categories of my shopping list. So that is excellent. So I'm gonna write out what I do need and I will show it to you. Here we go, the final grocery list, and it is going to be such a cheaper shopping trip than what I was expecting. I'm so glad that I did this. So in the end, I am going to need to buy milk, bread, a salad kit only if it is on sale. I love those salad kits, but they're overpriced, so I'll only buy them now if they're on sale. Margarine, you didn't see that in the fridge just because I used the last of it up this afternoon when I had my toast for a snack. Sweet Thai chili sauce. I know I have a lot of condiments, but that is my current favorite one right now, and I did just finish it up the other day, so I'd like to buy another one. Toilet paper, not a food item, but I buy it from Safeway. Striker's water, which I know makes him sound like a little bit of a diva, but for whatever reason, tap water makes him sick, and so I buy him bottled water. Taco vegetables in a can. That's not really what it's called. I just don't know what it is called. There's this canned vegetable that I got one other time, and I mixed it in with some ground beef, and it's like corn and I think jalapenos and peppers. I think there's maybe black olives in there. I really can't remember everything that's in there, but it's just, for me, it's a perfect combination of vegetables to put with the ground beef. And so I thought if I mix it with the ground beef when I do eventually cook it, that will help make the meat sort of get bulked up and last for more portions. And so when I do cook up the meat to use it to have my week of not taco, not burrito craziness that I come up with, I'm going to have it for that. Now, I might not buy it this time. I just want to have a look for it, make sure I remember where it is, and see how much it is. It's not very expensive, I don't believe, and maybe by some kind of a fluke it'll be on sale. I may not doubt it, but you won't know unless you look. So I just wanted to add it to the list as something to keep an eye on. Fresh fruit, bananas, I always buy bananas, and then I just put something else because it'll depend on sort of what's in season, what's on sale. Like those peaches, I didn't plan on those peaches the other week, but they were on sale and it was such a good deal I couldn't turn it up. So maybe they have something like that. If they don't really have anything that's on a good sale, I'll probably just buy a couple apples and then a cucumber if it is on sale only, because cucumbers are like $2 or $3, and it's not that I don't think the vegetables are worth the money, but I don't need it. Oh, baby carrots. I'm gonna add baby carrots and I'll see how much the baby carrots are, because I was saying how I need like something healthy to snack on to get me away from junk food. So I will add baby carrots to this list, and then this is it. I'm not grocery shopping tonight. I kind of ran out of time for the day, so I'll do it tomorrow morning, well before I'm heading out to the baby shower. But yeah, I mean, I think this was great. Do you guys ever shop in your own kitchen before you actually go and shop for real? Because this has just saved me a ton of money, and I love the seeing of like the freezer getting emptied out. Do you know what I mean? Or like the fridge when when I use something up and I create space in it. There's something very satisfying about seeing that like I'm using up the things that I purchased and I'm making space in my own kitchen. So I don't like my food areas to be over cluttered necessarily. So it yeah, I don't know, this is going to tick off so many happy little boxes for me, saving money and actually using the food that I have so I don't waste any of it, and then also like seeing the space become more available as I like finish up products. All in all, it is a win. If you haven't done something like this, I highly recommend like actually yanking everything out so that you can see it all and really assessing like what you have and making plans to use those items so that you can like clear out space, use up your food, and save your money. It's all kinds of a win happening over here. So that is it for this video. I'll do the grocery shopping haul on a separate video because some people who just like the hauls probably won't like all of this connected to it. But yeah, I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you made it this far, you are a rock star. I hope you're having a really great day. If you do something similar, or if you have a better system, since I have no system, for how to track your food so that you don't have to go and do something like this, I would love to hear about it down in the comments. Other than that, I will leave you to your day. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. I will talk to you later. Bye.